chances are you are not your niche. Even if you share similarities, you are running a web design and development business, so your needs and goals are different. If you are not your niche, then it's safe to assume you don't automatically know the language to use when speaking to your niche. In fact, as their industry changes, the needs, pain points, and benefits will naturally change along with it. So even if you once knew, chances are their industry has shifted and your assumptions may be outdated. There was no better example of this than the pandemic. Companies that were brick and mortar had to shift quickly to e-commerce. Education had to master learning management systems and document sharing. Restaurants had to switch to online ordering. The list goes on. You don't need to know your niche's everyday news, but you do need to know the most important highlights. For this reason, we need to explore where our ideal client profile hangs out in person and online. This brainstorming activity not only helps you discover the language to use for your sales and landing pages, which we will explore in a later lesson, but it is the basis for your outreach and marketing efforts so you waste less time and have better results. As we start to think about where your ideal client profile hangs out, let's explore the top 3 questions to help you build out the list in your ideal client profile worksheet. Where does your ideal client go to learn more so they can grow their business? For the education piece, we can look to certification programs, podcasts, webinars, in-person meetups, and conferences. Search online to find the top results. It doesn't even need to be a program, podcast, or conference targeting your niche, but simply one your ideal client would listen to or attend. Next, where does your ideal client go to hang out with their peers, get inspiration, or catch up on the latest news and trends? For the water cooler piece, we can look to social media platforms, television networks, YouTube channels, radio stations, and other news outlets. Joining a Facebook group is a great way to gain this insight. You can search the past posts for questions, asking about resources, and seeing what's shared. This question may not be accomplished through a search engine online, so it takes a bit more sleuthing. Finally, where does your ideal client go to find more of their clients and customers? For the marketing piece, we can look at which social media ads they run, radio or television, organic content in certain blogs, cold calling, printed ads in mailers, or even in-person trade shows and marketplaces. For this question, we must think more about what our ideal client profile would be selling, products or services. Then we need to find out how others are marketing it. You can visit related sites and click ads to rely on cookies to target you and see how those ads find you online. Or you can rely on past experiences to understand where this ideal client would market themselves. By knowing these 3 questions, we have a much better picture of our ideal client profile to help us find them for our own outreach. For example, in education, if a large portion of your niche attends a conference, sign up, even if it's just to learn what their needs are. Networking in person is also the most effective way to attract new clients. In addition, if there's a popular podcast, offer a topic to the podcast host as a website specialist and be on as a guest. For the water cooler piece, join the Facebook groups, watch the popular television show, or have the latest news make its way to your inbox. For marketing, pay attention to the niche strategies. These will come in handy as your ideal client will want to know what they can do to be competitive. Now, let's talk about these in terms of our last few examples of Sue and Tom. Let's say Sue's niche is mid-sized businesses specializing in education and resource sharing online. She discovers an online conference for their niche and decides to attend. One thing she notices is the theme of the entire conference is privacy and security. Not only is Sue understanding what issues are very important, but during an online Q&A, Sue is able to help answer a question about the privacy of WordPress. She's even able to share that she runs a web agency that builds websites for resource sharing. What about Tom? Well, Tom's niche is small businesses that need in-person points of sale and online e-commerce. He finds a popular POS system and subscribes to the newsletter. He knows that it's old, but it's widely used for his niche. In the latest news, the POS announced that the company has been bought out and the new company needs the old users to migrate to the new cloud-only solution. Knowing how overwhelming this could be, Tom reaches out and lets the new company know that they can refer users to him for the migration. In both those situations, Sue and Tom received a large audience with such a small effort by knowing their ideal client profile and following in that profile's footsteps. When we niche down, we can place our time and energy in the right areas to benefit from this type of exposure and outreach. When you don't niche, you stretch too thin and it doesn't work. There's a smaller return on investment, but niche down, it pays off. Niche your outreach efforts by following, observing, and visiting places your niche learns, hangs out, and markets isn't about getting to know what they do or how they do it. It's about listening and learning. By listening and learning, you can pivot where you need to, adjust your efforts, take genuine interest in their pain points, and become an expert in how to grow their particular type of business.